All right, we are going to be going back to this thing as soon as we get more information on it, but that's about all we can tell you right now. Fort Collins, Colorado, a boy has apparently somehow been captured inside this, apparently put himself in this kind of flotation device. Our Benny, the stage manager, is pointing to that little circular object underneath, and once you get a little closer, you can see that it is not just a flimsy piece of cellophane there, that this is a substantial balloon that we're looking at. Again, it's hard to tell unless you have something to compare it to in size, but it does appear that part of it anyway, one half of it is losing some of its gas. So hopefully once that inflatable gas is exhausted, it will come down. And I can tell you that since we've been watching it on the ISO camera here, it does appear that the ground is coming up much faster than it was. Before, it appeared to be, I don't know, a couple of 1,000 feet off of the ground. Now it appears to be no more than a couple of 100 feet. Let's hope that the camera pulls back a little bit, and you can see there that the ground appears to be getting closer. Now, this does appear to be in somewhat flatlands, although, as you know, Fort Collins not too far away from the Rockies, so there are a lot of winds up there. We don't know where this thing will eventually
be. Danger.
Yeah, I guess, you know, as it begins to descend, and it will, as it begins to descend, it's just a matter of what gets in its way. I mean, eventually, are there huge power lines that, you know, go across the open countryside? Are there trees? Are there buildings? I mean, who in the world knows what's going to happen or where it's going to end up?
Again, the odds are in our favor here because this is open country and it's a lot of open space. The chances of you running into anything are really pretty small out there in Colorado, especially if he moves towards the northwest, towards the mountains there. I think the only way to really do any active measures here is to put somebody on a pararescueman from the military, perhaps, on a chopper and lower them down to the balloon. But, you know, and you can have a few hours go by before they have to organize something like that. There'd be time to think it through and think of a technique to add some extra weight to the balloon to gradually lower it to the ground.
Well, that would be quite something to see, and it'd have to be
anything inside that. But indeed, it's hard to tell exactly how big it is because there's nothing to relate its size to, and therefore one must assume that the FAA knows what they're doing in suggesting that there's a 6-year-old inside it. It's a homemade aircraft. Clearly, the 6-year-old didn't know. Frankly, whoever put if indeed a 6-year-old is inside, whoever put the 6-year-old inside, unless it was a total accident, should be brought up on charges. But we will wait and see what happens as this thing comes gliding to a stop somewhere. We have on the phone with us a gentleman named Miles O'Brien, who is an aviation expert. Miles, I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking that doesn't look like something that could sustain any kind of weight. But do you think otherwise?
Sort of looks like a Jiffy Pop bag.
It does.
You know,
yeah.
It really does. You know, it's interesting.
Because of the Rockies, the moist air coming in from the Pacific gets pushed up over the Rockies, cold, you know, it forms those big thunderstorms that roll over Denver and the Front Range just about every summer afternoon. So there are a lot of weather chasers out there, a lot of people who really love that stuff.
We're getting from Larimer County, John, that, and, you know, you get reports of all kinds of things, but there is a report or two that somebody, somewhere in Larimer County, is that Denver proper?
Larimer County is Fort Collins. It's about 70 miles north of Denver.
All right. Well, we know this thing was in Larimer County at one point, and somebody reported that he or she thought he or she might have seen something fall out of this thing as it was going over their house. So they don't know. You know, you don't know what's the truth yet. So anyway, just to err on the side of caution, Larimer County Sheriff's officers, I am informed, are heading out to an area where they think somebody, you know, where they think somebody saw something that looked like something falling out of this thing. Now, do they know that? No, they don't know. But they're going back to the area to check it out. And I still say look under the bed. So these are the live pictures. John, what are you getting over there? Anything?
Just
yeah,
trying to check the wires.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing over here, too.
It is a crazy, crazy story. You know, I lived in Fort Collins as I started my TV career with one of those Denver stations that's covering this thing now. And we covered a lot of crazy stories out there. But as you said, Shepard, I have never, ever seen anything like this before. And let's just hope that that little boy is somewhere on the ground and okay.
Scout in DeWitt, South Carolina writes, Shep, are you blanking me? Telling people to look under the bed for the missing balloon boy? Have you lost your mind? I'm like, no, I don't think that's a mind loss thing at all. You tell me that this family hasn't looked high and low for the little boy around the house, hoping that maybe they thought he got in there, but then he got out and it went away, and he's hiding because he thinks he's in trouble. I'm hopeful for that, Scout. I don't know about you. I haven't lost my mind. I'm just hoping they've lost the boy and they're about to find him. You know, that's...
through the morning. Let's hope that boy somehow can be delivered back safely into the, excuse me, the arms of his parents.
Can't imagine the terror that that little boy is going through at the moment. We need to find out exactly where the parents are, how he came to be in a situation where he could climb into a hot air balloon.
Trying to see what happened. So let's hope the little boy is okay. Perhaps he may have fallen out at lower altitude, but certainly doesn't look like there's anybody inside that wicker basket.
Yeah, and the reports did come from his brother or sister as well, that he got in there and may have fallen out. So I suppose all of that has got to be verified. But as you say, the parents took half an hour to let authorities know that it was out of control. Well, obviously, this is going to be a story that's going to develop throughout the morning. What on earth happened? A lot of questions unanswered at the moment. Might keep us up to date.
Will do, guys. Thank you.
Right, I understand. We just had...
Maybe there is a chance that maybe the boy didn't even get on board and just cut the cord himself without climbing on board.
And is now hiding because he's in a whole world of trouble.
Well, that was in Colorado. These, as we say, are live pictures coming here right now. The experimental craft, which was built by the boy's parents, drifted for about an hour before finally touching down gently. I've been listening to the American news crews in choppers above the crash site. They're in touch with police there. The aircraft, these pictures actually that you're seeing, are coming to you live from a police helicopter. The police helicopter has been saying that the craft rose to about 15,000 feet at some stages during its hour-long flight, but there's always been concern for the little boy who was on board. It now appears that he may have fallen from the balloon in the early stages of the flight, because there's no sign of him now anywhere near the crash site.
Frank, there were other brothers from the family involved, I understand, and maybe the boy has simply run away and hidden somewhere. That's the outcome that people are hoping for.
It's going to be a tale to tell.
His brother then fell out of it. We simply don't know. We do know that across much of the nation, everyone was transfixed on their screens, wondering if that little boy, likely the young lad pictured in the middle here, was ever in it or fell off it. But even on the cameras on the New York Stock Exchange, all monitors, all eyes turned to its fate and this little boy's fate. We just don't know. A neighbor right now is speaking with reporters. Let's see what we can learn from him.
Shaken. You know, I know them too.
Oh, you know them also?
Yeah, I've done a story with them before.
Okay.
And I came to a party at my office when I moved. I came to an office warming party. And well, all three of the kids, you know, my kids, and I would say I know them super well, but...
And the balloon's down somewhere and the boy was not in it.
Correct.
Yeah. Wow.
Are you good? Yeah.
Unwire me.
All right, that was a neighbor there. Again, what we don't know is where this little boy is. The suspicions were that he was inside this balloon earlier on when it took off, and then you heard these reports, namely many being attributed to his brother, that he fell off. Those have not been confirmed, and not even clearly confirmed whether the brother really said that at all, but that's one of the things that's been chasing on the wires, and we've been hearing various...